We've heard a lot tonight about who said what and when, who called for an inquiry, who refused one, who changed their mind when they changed it, who was running the council, at what time. And I don't believe the victims and survivors are interested in any of that. They're interested in being heard, they're interested in being believed, and more importantly, they're interested in seeing change. The Green Group welcome Bradford's inclusion in this inquiry. As we see most of our colleagues in the room, we all are united on that one front. So the one question this meeting was called to settle has already been settled, and I, like many people here, are glad for that. It's what survivors it's what victims, survivors and campaigners across our district have asked for years. But we are still here tonight debating competing versions of the motion. Our problem with the motions in front of us is as a group is we feel that both the Conservative and the Reform motion assign blame already before the inquiry has happened, and that's a problem. We need to let the inquiry do its job without leading it in any particular way. And the Labour amendment is actually missing one of the actual key bits of local action, and that was included in the Reform motion. So we'd like to thank the Reform Party for bringing that forward, as it actually shows that Bradford Council still does have a role to play in this. But that's the whole problem here. Instead of focusing on what's best in survivors, which is the best motion, what we actually have tonight is still politicians politicking. So with all the speeches tonight, what's actually going to change for survivors? What's going to change for the victims? Being selected for a place in the inquiry should have been the minimum that we were asking for. It's not the whole job. Whether or not we were chosen to be in the inquiry, our duty to children in this district is still the same. Child sexual exploitation is not a historic problem we're closing the book on. It's happening now. It sits within a wider epidemic of violence against women and girls that the government has said is a national emergency. 1 in 3 women experience domestic abuse. 1 in 4 experience sexual assault. These are not abstract statistics. Earlier this year I went to a local secondary school in my ward who told me that already they had dealt with 3 times as many cases of peer-on-peer sexual abuse than the year before. Behind every single one of the numbers I've said today is a person, a survivor or a victim, however they choose to identify. Some of them have found the courage to speak, others haven't. They aren't any specific demographic, they are people with their lives ahead of them. And we can't have this debate without acknowledging the survivors or the campaigners who have carried this on for years, often at great personal cost. Among them, as Councillor Paulson's mentioned, is Fiona Goddard. I've only spoken to Fiona once, very briefly, and I listen and read to a lot of what she says. One thing that she did say was tackling grooming gangs should be cross-party. She said no MP can take the moral high ground by using child sexual abuse for their own political gain, and I think that really does apply to the councillors in the room here tonight as well. So let us send a united message to survivors: we are with you. Let's fully cooperate and give survivors and victims a real and meaningful voice in what happens next. And I want to say something very specific to the men in the room here tonight. There's a lot of us who want to speak on this subject tonight, and myself included in this. I did offer my group the opportunity, but they decided it was for me. But instead of talking and getting across what we think and how we feel, we should spend a lot more time listening. Listening to women like Fiona and the other victims and survivors across our district. Listening to everything, not just the parts that are politically convenient for us or fit our view of the world. Meet your local police force, they're the ones on the front of this. Visit the schools in the area you represent, speak to women's groups and listen to the women in your own lives, our family, our friends, our colleagues. Many women experience life very different from us, I know that. Many women text a friend to say they've got home safely, who hold their keys in their hand when they're walking to the car, who think twice about walking home alone at night, or which way they're going to go for a run. The epidemic of violence to women and girls is something we all have to face, and this is a very small section of that. It's an awful section of that, but that just explains the problem that this country faces. So after tonight, as politicians, we need to do a lot less talking and a lot more listening.